Hey everybody, Jeff Attinella here from the Portland Timbers. Welcome back to another story time. For this one, we're going to read a story that I wrote called The Great Space Race. It's a little different from the normal stories that we do, and I hope you enjoy it. We put our own little twist on it. It's about the race between the U.S. and Russia, and how they were competing to get to the moon. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and here we go. So that's the books are how to be told. Great Space Race. Okay. All good. I want to tell you a story, one that I still can't believe. The story of a race long ago, the biggest the world had ever seen. It was a race in the sky, but not on a plane. A race so big even the earth couldn't contain. It was the race to the moon, and it's really a true story. A race between two countries competing for worldwide glory. Russia and the United States were out to prove who was best. Putting a man on the moon would be the ultimate test. In 1955, the space race was all the talk. Two world powers stepped up to the starting block. In 1957, Russia launched Sputnik 1 and jumped to an early lead. With the unmanned satellite in orbit, Russia was quickly gaining speed. 1 year later, America launched Explorer 1 to claim their spot in space. With a satellite of its own in orbit, the U.S. matched Russia's pace. A few years passed before the next big splash, but again it was the Russians leading the mad dash. The United States was lagging and needed to increase its speed, so a year later they launched John Glenn into space and cut Russia's lead. Russia was moving fast, but America was right on its tail. President John F. Kennedy wanted to ensure the U.S. would prevail. In a 1962 speech to the country, JFK shared a dream that was bold. He wanted to win the space race, but that's not all the people were told. He wanted to be the first country to land a man on the moon, but with Russia holding the lead, work needed to start soon. All of JFK's moon missions were named Apollo. There were quite a few. Through perseverance and sacrifice, the country's determination grew. Apollo 1 was the first scheduled spaceflight, but something went very wrong. The spacecraft never made it to the launch pad, so the mission didn't last long. The U.S. team got back to work, but the next mission would wait. It was important to get things just right to avoid Apollo 1's fate. In 1968, Apollo 7's missions would be the first for the red, white, and blue. They launched a command and service module into orbit with a fully manned crew. With Apollo 11 planned, the U.S. had the finish line in sight, but a secret rocket sat on the Russian launch pad, ready to take flight. That secret spaceship caught the United States by surprise, but the rocket fell apart, never quite reaching the skies. That cleared the way for the U.S. to win once and for all, and on July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 answered the call. The rocket launched into the sky as people all over the world watched on. The brave astronauts that day were Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong. On July 20th, Apollo 11 reached the moon and touched down. With one stride out of the lunar module, astronaut Neil Armstrong broke new ground. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, echoed from space, as they planted the American flag on the moon's surface in its rightful place. The world was awestruck and couldn't believe it was true. The possibilities now seem endless for what the U.S. could do. In a time of racing with the Russians to see who was number one, it was the United States making history and having all the fun. 6 missions in total were considered a success. All but Apollo 13 reached the moon, passing the ultimate test. As for the Russians, it wasn't considered a total loss. But as for putting a man on the moon, well, that dream was tossed. When the space race came to an end, peace became the new theme. And as the years went on, the two countries worked as a team. In 1975, the US and Russia conducted a joint mission in space. Their ships docked together and the crews exchanged gifts face to face. The race to the moon taught everyone to think big and reach for the stars. Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon. Maybe you could be the first on Mars. The end. Just some fun facts. A little bit more information about space shuttles. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. That was the Great Space Race. I hope everybody's staying happy and healthy out there. I know this is a difficult time, but hopefully you can enjoy that time with your loved ones. Remember, we're in this together. Keep doing the right things, and we'll be out and back on the streets here soon. So I'll see you guys next time, and thank you.